Perhaps the greatest discovery of the 20th century was when the universe was shown to be expanding. The implications of that discovery remain to this day absolutely mind-boggling. What was long thought to be eternal now seems to have had a beginning. From a scientific perspective, it is readily accepted. So, before life or its chemistry, before the planets, solar system, stars, and galaxies, we arrive at the very beginning and have lots of questions. How did the universe itself come into existence? Is there a natural explanation for it? Can something really come from nothing? Or is the ancient maxim true, out of nothing, nothing comes? First, we have to define nothing. This might not be as easy as you think. Perhaps you've heard of Dr. Lawrence Krauss or his book, A Universe from Nothing, Why There is Something Rather Than Nothing. Krauss is a theoretical physicist at Arizona State University who says the answer to a universe from nothing comes from the realm of quantum mechanics, or more precisely, the quantum vacuum. But wouldn't that be something? Fields of fluctuating energy from which particles appear to pop in and out of existence, and undoubtedly obeying the laws of physics to do so. Moreover, the vacuum itself had to have a beginning, and therefore needs a cause. Now, if the initial starting point of the universe was nothing, literally no thing, then there are no properties like the laws of physics to work with. Nothing, as Aristotle put it, is what rocks dream about. Dr. Krauss is committing the logical fallacy of equivocation, that is, using the same word in an argument, but with two different definitions.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
The nothing in the title of Krauss's book is not the nothing from which the universe came. This critical distinction was not lost on Dr. David Albert. A PhD in theoretical physics, Dr. Albert is a professor at Columbia University and author of the book Quantum Mechanics and Experience. In his scathing review of Krauss's book in the New York Times, Dr. Albert doesn't pull any punches and questions both Krauss's logic and his physics. Not one to take this lying down, Krauss fought back, calling Dr. Albert a moronic philosopher. But it was too little, too late, and Krauss eventually had to admit that his nothing is actually something. But why mislead people with the bait-and-switch title of his book? Why smuggle in the laws of physics and the quantum vacuum and then call it nothing? Well, it might make a more interesting title, but it's poor science. Albert Einstein once said, "The man of science is a poor philosopher." I think Einstein understood that science itself is built on philosophical principles that help the scientists make precise definitions and clear distinctions, and then interpret all the data rationally, including what exactly is or isn't nothing. Perhaps Krauss and others need to be reminded what the PH in PhD stands for.
I don't think I'm quite familiar with that phrase.
Now we come to another poor philosopher, though a brilliant cosmologist and theoretical physicist, Stephen Hawking. In his book, The Grand Design, Hawking said this: "Because there is a law such as gravity, the universe can and will create itself from nothing. Spontaneous creation is the reason there is something rather than nothing, why the universe exists, why we exist." Once again, the initial starting point of the universe was nothing, no matter or energy, no time or space. So there are no properties like gravity or the abstract and immaterial law of gravity to work with. So for the universe to have made itself, it would have had to exist prior to its existence, a contradiction of the first principle of causality. And using spontaneous creation as a silver bullet is to make a claim no more scientific than magic. In fact, as Dr. William Lane Craig put it, it's worse than magic. When a magician pulls a rabbit out of a hat, at least you've got the magician, not to mention the hat. Here's Professor John Lennox on Stephen Hawking.
Yes, and what people don't realize is that here is Hawking. He's a brilliant, famous scientist. He was just ahead of me at Cambridge. I remember it very well. I've no quibble with his science, but it's what he deduces from it is the problem. And it reminds me of something that's very important in this area, Rice, and it's this. Statements of scientists aren't always statements of science, but the trouble is because they've got authority, people think this is an authoritative statement of science, and that Hawking has solved the mystery of the existence of the universe. He hasn't. He's given a statement that has three distinct levels of contradiction built within it. That's not a very good start.
Professor Lennox sums it up well with this quote: Nonsense remains nonsense, even when talked by world-famous scientists.